Tuesday, number 51. I'm Hangman, and we're going to be starting things off right away. We got Morphtronic and Stinky Cheese coming up to the plate to start things off today. For those of you joining us tonight, the usual gimmick for Training Tuesdays, we start things off on the winner's side, as is typical for a tournament, and then we move over to the lower bracket as the night goes on. But we got to get there first. Stinky Cheese is loading up with Jigglypuff, which we don't get to see too often here, and Morphtronic actually picking into Wolf. The reason for the curious tone is because we typically see Morphtronic as a Min player, so dabbling into other solid characters, always a good decision to be made. And as far as the matchup is concerned, you've got plenty of ways to take advantage of Puff, from forcing approaches with Blaster to harassing in the sky with really good aerials by way of forward air, up air, and nair. But we go off stage, it's Jigglypuff's space. It's always been Jigglypuff's space. And it'll continue to be Jigglypuff's space, as getting sent a bit too far down ends out first stock in favor of Stinky Cheese. Now, I'm going to keep it a stack with y'all. Stinky Cheese was put on stream first because I thought the tag was pretty funny. Now, seeing Puff, things get a little funnier. Puff is one of those characters who has always been regarded as not very good, but as far as highlighting what Puff does bring to the table, being able to poke shield safely is a blessing against a character like Wolf, who is always waiting to swing on you on reaction. And like I was already highlighting, offstage play is relatively simple for Puff because of how well she can edge guard. Multiple jumps, low air mobility means that she can hover in the same spots, not indefinitely, but in a way that makes it very difficult to navigate as a character with limited movement options. But put out enough smash attacks and those movement options will still be good enough. Morphtronic ties up the stock count while taking a bit of a hit on the head. 92% isn't that bad to bounce back from as Wolf. You can deal that back in like 2 neutral interaction wins. Wolf deals so much damage in one shot. These reckless approaches from Morph, though, definitely need to be a bit more metered. Throwing yourself in with reckless abandon, even against a character like Jigglypuff, just leaves you taking extra damage that you don't need to. And against Puff, there's always the errant chance that one overstep could be your last. A well-spaced back air does make the stock count 2-1, and you know, this is not to say anything about if Stinky Cheese has any rest confirms, because this character definitely has those. Hunting around with Dare is actually a pretty solid way to see if you could find rest out of it, depending on how well your opponent can SDI out of down air. And even without the threat of rest, it's just a good move. Yeah, these high returns to the stage with B are going to be Morph's demise. He has to be a bit more careful. And an excellent roll read ends with rest, and also ends game 1 in favor of Stinky Cheese. Honestly, as far as stages go, I think Battlefield is fine and dandy. I'm sorry, not Battlefield. Battlefield would be good, but Stadium is fine and dandy. Oh shit, we're going to Battlefield anyways. All right, well, small Battlefield seems to be the pick if music selection is anything to go by here. I think a fine enough stage. I think Battlefield and Stadium work out fine. Oh, now it makes a lot more sense. Going to small battlefields with Min gives you a lot of room to harass, especially an aerial target like Puff. You have to pilot Puff very meticulously to get around the blind spot of Min-Min's control. Now, we haven't seen a Min-Min on stream here in quite some time, and as this is, I think, one of the first appearances of Min-Min since 13.0.1, just have to highlight that Morph's shield pressure is not going to be nearly as safe as it used to be. The character still has plenty of buttons you have to worry about, but approaching Nair on block is not nearly as safe of an endeavor for Min-Mins as it used to be. So if Stinky is comfortable enough with navigating into that blind spot in front of Min-Min's head, where the arms just can't quite cover and up smash just isn't good enough, Stinky's still going to be fine. But as far as getting spaced out, that is what Min-Min is best at. And shit, if there was anything that she'd be good for in this game, I would really hope it's that. That was actually a really good position for Stinky to be in. Could have carried the pressure on further, even with forward smash whiffing, but nonetheless, Finding the damage here and there is about as safe as you can ask for things, but Megawatt forward does manage to get first stock from Morph. Those are those important situations where you need to have control of the situation. Min Min does not have the room to play off stage, and that's why just a simple touch of Nair is what evens up the stock count. Min Min already has a hard time off stage with the cast. Just the entire cast, beyond like maybe Little Mac and Cassia. But you, as Puff, like that is one of the best things that Puff can bring to the table is good edge guarding. And the fact that we're seeing the harasses of Nair, the fact that we're seeing so much forward throw, even though forward throw has pretty lackluster knockback and damage, it's enough to send Min Min off stage, and that focus on stage positioning is really key from Stinky. Ooh, the pound managing to get us right on back to the ledge. Morph resets the stage state by going back to the other side of stage, which I think is smart. Give yourself as much distance as you can from your target. Let your arms do the talking. This character reigned infamous for a reason. You might as well, you know, commit to it. And the fact that Stinky is smart enough to be able to use those aerials to contest the arms as well just goes to show he's at least confident in the Puff play. Also oddly confident in this matchup. Reverse hit of Nair manages to make it a 2-0 for Stinky Cheese.